August 1985. The Cold War is heating up in one of the world's most strategic choke points. The Strait of Gibraltar, where the Mediterranean meets the Atlantic, is now the stage for a high-stakes game of cat and mouse. For decades, the Soviet Navy has been pushing to project its power beyond the Mediterranean. Now, they've taken a bold step. A battle group, consisting of an aircraft carrier, a missile cruiser, a destroyer and a frigate, has been ordered to break through NATO's naval blockade and reach the open waters of the Atlantic. It's an audacious move, a direct challenge to NATO's dominance in the region. The Kremlin's message is clear. The Soviet Navy will not be contained. But NATO has no intention of letting them pass. NATO commanders have scrambled a formidable force to stop the Soviets dead in their tracks. British, American and Spanish warships form a wall of steel and firepower. Their order are simple: deny passage at any cost. The Strait of Gibraltar, only 13 kilometers wide, now holds the world's attention. One wrong move, one miscalculation, and this tense standoff could escalate into full-scale naval warfare. The Soviets know the stakes. If they can break through, it will be a stunning demonstration of their naval power. But failure would mean humiliation and potential disaster for the crewmen on board. Missiles are armed, aircraft are ready, and the world holds its breath. Two navies, one choke point. Who will prevail in this dangerous game of brinkmanship? Hey guys, Stealth here, and welcome to what is potentially the most difficult mission so far in Sea Power. We are a Soviet battle group, a carrier task force, or REL. We're supposed to link up with an Alpha-class submarine in the rendezvous area, but there happens to be a little bit of a roadblock in the way. The base at Gibraltar, and, well, there are supposedly hostile naval and air forces. Whatever the cost, you must keep carrier intact. Check your targets. Civilian casualties are unacceptable. MCON. Maintain radio silence until otherwise directed. Weapons are restricted. Avoid detection by enemy air patrols. Good lord. We have a lot of issues with this mission. We have a lot of challenges ahead. Editor's note here, and I want to be upfront about this. The mission unfortunately had a bunch of bugs and issues with it, and that means I cannot complete the whole thing. Let alone in one video. I do want to show it to you because I believe very much in honesty, and this means that I want to go into this scenario blind, even if it is bugged. I want to go in blind and I want to see how well I can play it. If I play it for the second time, I will know what assets NATO has, and I won't be as surprised anymore. So I did want to mention that I cannot complete the scenario, but it is going to make for a very bunch of exciting gameplay nonetheless. Commander, your mission is to break into the Atlantic. Be aware. Breaking through NATO forces in Gibraltar will not be an easy task. You might need to disable both naval base and airfield to be able to successfully pass the Strait of Gibraltar. So, what do we have in order to break through that blockade, or to break through the blockade of, the port of Gibraltar? We have one ship over here. It's a Krivac 1, so that's mostly geared towards anti-submarine warfare. And it is capable of defending itself and against surface targets as well with the SSN-14s with a range of only 27 nautical miles. Doesn't make them terribly useful, but that's the ship and the missile that we have. We have a Slava. Now, if you want something properly killed off, this is the guy you bring. Then you have the SSN-12 Sandbox. That's the missiles you see along the sides of the ship. That has a range of almost 300 nautical miles. It fires the P-500 Basalt missile. Very fast as well, 1300 knots. And this guy carries 16 of those missiles. So yeah, we should be able to at least level a couple of surface ships with those, especially considering that they carry massive amounts of explosives. Udaloy. This is the Udaloy that has a bit of a mix of weaponry. It is a large anti-submarine ship. Given that I am provided one of these missions, or one of these ships in this mission, does, well, at least it opens up the way to this being potentially a mission where submarines are going to have a presence. As for anti-submarine and anti-surface, we have surface-to-air missiles, the SAN-9, with a range of 6.5 nautical miles, so mostly self-defense. They carry a lot of them, so they should be able to shoot down incoming missiles. They have a couple of SN-14s, or SSN-14s. Again, it's the low range, the 27 nautical miles. Other weapons are mostly anti-submarine. That's the RBU-6000 and the Z-65 torpedoes. We have the AK-100 gun. It's just a naval gun. It's not going to do a whole lot of work. And we have Sea-Wiz, thank God. Because we're probably going to have to defend these ships. And then we have the Vilnius, the aircraft carrier itself. This is an Orel-class aircraft carrier, which carries quite a lot of aircraft. If you look at the air tab here, we have 58 aircraft out of the 60 that can be carried by the carrier. We have everything from MiG-23s to KO-45s, P-42s. Yeah, there's a lot of different aircraft, so let me walk you through it. The MiG-23, mostly a fighter. It is a bit more versatile than just being a fighter, because you can equip them with air-to-air, but also strike range. And this will allow them to do a bit of bombing runs. So, the MiG-23s are quite versatile in that role. The KO-45 is a new generation of Soviet supercarrier, at least that's what they're supposed to go on. A subsonic attack role similar to the A6. So they're just your straight attack craft. To that end, they have some very interesting loadouts, such as anti-ship precision, allowing them to hit allowing them to hit ships, long strike range, strike precisions, SEED even, suppression of enemy air defenses, which allows them to carry, I believe, what's that, an anti-radiation missile? Yeah, I think it is. And that is going to be very handy. The P-42 is a flying radar dish, immediately apparent by the dish itself. It has no weapons, but it comes with a very good radar. Unfortunately, I'm supposed to stay MCON, so in mission control, I'm not allowed to use this thing. KO-45EW. Specifically designed for use with new generation, a similar role to the AA6. So it is there as a bit of a jammer. It has defensive countermeasures, electronic support measures for searching, but a defensive ECM jammer. So with that, you should be able to at least throw off the enemy radars a bit. And finally, what we have here is... there's the P-42 as well, and the K-27s. K-27's mostly there to deal with, well, I guess recovering fallen pilots, but also dealing with either with submarines, hunting them with the sonobuoys, and then hunting them down with the torpedoes, the AT-1. The other aircraft over here, the P-42, we have some options. They can carry different loadouts. You have ASW, this is the ASW. So it carries the UMGT-1, which is an anti-submarine torpedo, and it also carries RGB-1, so it can also be used in a sonobuoy mode, where you can deploy sonobuoys a heck of a lot faster than you can with just helicopters. So, that's about 5 minutes introduction as to what assets we have, but I think this is a very important part to show you what this task force might be capable of. We have to travel 235 nautical miles to meet up with K-123, which is friendly, but I cannot control this submarine. I can control the submarine, my bad. It's an Alpha class sub, and I'm just going to tell it to basically run quiet. It is loitering. It's loitering at a speed of 6 knots at a depth of 1,000 feet. And I think that is fine. I don't really need to do a whole lot with this sub. At least not at the moment. I can bring it a little closer, but seeing as it's currently 504 Zulu, it's going to take them 7 hours to move up to there. This task force of mine is traveling at 18 knots. I think that's fine. What I find a bit frustrating is that MCON requirement. I am not allowed to make any noise. I'm not allowed to detect anything. And it's supposedly until further orders. Yeah. I might just disobey that order, because I find that the survivability of my ships and my units might be a heck of a lot more important than, well, adhering to MCON conditions. Although, if I am going to... this is the ironic part. If I'm going to break with the orders, I might make it home and then get court-martialed. If I stick to my orders and maintain MCON, I probably won't even see any incoming missiles or planes or ships or submarines, and I'm just gonna die, and there won't be a court-martial. So, in that sense, the outcome is only going to be shit. I'm either dead or court-martialed. So, I might as well turn on the radar. At the moment, we're just not tracking anything. There's nothing out there. So, we're gonna do flight deck. This is the Vilnius. I'm gonna launch a helo. It can be an ASW loadout, but it doesn't strictly have to be. Although, well, seeing as I might carry it, let's go. What happens now is that this helicopter is going to get brought up from the hangar, and you can actually see all the rest of the aircraft up there, over in the hangar. And I mean, just look at the beauty of this aircraft carrier. Everything's modeled. Everything looks pretty. I really like it. It is 5:07, so yeah, we're still using the carrier deck lighting, especially with this pretty awful thunderstorm that's happening. And hopefully it's not going to, well, knock any of our aircraft out of the sky. Helicopter on the deck. I am running it at ×3 speed, otherwise this video would take a week. And with this, hopefully we'll be able to detect some more stuff. We do have a new ESM contact. Somewhere in that ellipsis. Oh, it's an E3A. Okay. Lovely. That's a flying radar dish. What's your detection range? 550 nautical miles. Good lord. We don't exactly know where it is, but I kind of doubt that it's all the way over there. Seeing as it's probably here, I am very likely to have already appeared on their radar. This aircraft knows that something is coming in from the east. And that means that it's potentially already recommending that there be action taken against us. Isn't that nice? Our helo's airborne. Let's tell our helo to actually to go here, go to a height of 3,000 feet, and we're just going to pop the radar game again. So you're going to go all the way up. And at about 3,000 feet, we're just going to pop the radar. I want to see what my aircraft can see. Ideally, I'll not get shot down. If that does happen, well, I do have additional helos, right? So it's not going to be fun for the pilots, but at least we should be able to survive. Hello. 7002, request identification. Fuck it. Break with the orders. Who has the best radar? You got a HeadNet, which is a 200 nautical mile air and surface search radar. What does the carrier itself have for radar? You got a top pair. 200 nautical miles air search radar. Could be very, very useful. The Udaloy is an ASW, so the Slava might have a better radar then. Seeing as it's a bit more geared towards anti-air options. You got a top pair and a top steer. Top air, yeah. Okay, we're gonna activate the top pair. New radar contact 7003. Understood. Activate your air search radar. New radar contact. Track 7004. Request identification. We really identified this guy quickly. Interesting. Still, don't exactly know where he is, because it's just his EAW that we're detecting. So I don't know much about it. There's also a target here of some variety. We're going to get a little bit more information. I'm going to pop a sonobuoy. Not because I'm hunting a submarine at the moment, but mostly because I want to figure out if there's anything else that I can potentially hear. As for this contact, it is doing an altitude of 35,000 feet at 459 knots. I have no idea what that is. It's not responding to my request for identification, so it could be hostile, it could be friendly. For now, I think it's behaving normally. Like, it's at 30,000 feet, so that's about, what, 12 kilometers up? 35, yeah, 35,000 feet. Not exactly sure that this is hostile or friendly. But I'm going to keep an eye on it, because it's currently about 80 miles from the Slava. Okay. I'm going to drop down with this helo, because as I have already, to my regret, demonstrated, it is possible for helos to get shot down by some random / not so random missiles that are coming at you. Okay, Slava, you got your air search radar on? No, 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 no. I don't mean active sonar. I mean to go for surf search radar. Is there anything else that we've missed with the aircraft? Not as of right now. Yeah, see, that EA3, sorry, E3A is definitely a lot closer. And an aircraft carrier tends to have an enormous profile. So there's a very good chance that we've already been detected. Okay, you're gonna fly there afterwards. They're at a height of 900 feet. That's it's a bit high. Buoy away. In case you are new to naval combat, I'm using a sono buoy here. Not so much to listen for enemy submarines, which is their usual purpose, but to try and listen for surface ships, which is something that they can also do. And over here, you can see track 7003 has a noise of about 6.8 decibels. That means it's not terribly loud. It's consistent with its speed of only 10 knots. And of course, the faster you go in the water, more noise you're going to make. As for the targets, I don't know much. I don't know whether there are any targets, what sort of targets. I don't even have an idea where the base is. Supposedly there's a base at Gibraltar. I mean, this looks like it could be a naval base. It's nice and square. But for all I know, it's a natural outcropping. So we'll just have to take a little bit of time and gather more information. After a bit of time, we received some new intel. Intel reports that there is the possibility of a presence of an enemy submarine in the area. Proceed with caution. Well, isn't that nice? Thankfully, I am already deploying a sonobuoy screen, which was initially there to just detect general stuff. Surface contacts, for example, but now it's gotten real. Now we're definitely looking for something a little bit more intimidating. We're looking for something like a submarine. Don't know what type. We'll have to wait and see. We are every now and then detecting some new contacts. The Slava's just picked up a 7009er. And once again, it's an aircraft. It's unwilling to identify itself. There's no IFF happening here, so I'm not sure exactly what it is. But I am reasonably sure that I shouldn't just blow it out of the sky. As opposed to this E3A. Like, this thing is so tempting to just send a couple of interceptors after. Long-range missiles, blow it out of the sky. Of course, NATO's not quite going to be happy with me when I do that. I'm not sure if we're actually in a straight-up shooting war, but, well, it is considered hostile, right? It's not considered neutral, it's considered hostile. And as such, it might be fair game. It might be okay to shoot it down. The problem is, it's okay to launch a helicopter from an aircraft carrier, because you could just be a ship. If you start launching a helicopter from a Slava, I mean, yeah, more naval warships carry helicopters. But if you start launching an aircraft from the middle of the ocean, people are going to, or sorry, from the middle of the Mediterranean, people are going to go, huh? And so far, of course, as that E3A hasn't ruined the whole surprise anyway. Anyway, we're hunting submarines, along with trying to make our passage through the strait. New intelligence received in half hour after the information about the submarine. One of our informants in Gibraltar reports that local airbase is on alert now. Attack planes have been seen taking off from it. Most likely your force was detected and will be under attack soon. Here we go. Okay, the situation has now drastically changed. We're going to start launching aircraft from Vilnius. First, I want one of those flying radar dishes, which I believe was the the P4 something, the P42? Yeah, the LRDN, sorry, the RLDN. So that one. It's set to early warning, we're going to launch one. The rest, I want to have a couple of MiG-23s, air-to-air interceptors. I'll have 4 to a squadron, launch. Next, I want to have another couple of those set to, let's say, air-to-air mode. That's going to be a flight of 2. And that's going to be another flight of 2. Again, air-to-air. I'm expecting an all-out assault. So I'm going to be launching a bunch of these flights. And I want to have another flight of 4 air-to-airs, long-range, air-to-air intercepts. Go. That still leaves me with 12 MiGs, but at least my carrier should be busy for the foreseeable future. And especially that radar aircraft is going to be very instrumental in figuring out what is going on. As for that air attack, we are currently quite far away from the base, wherever that happens to be. We're about 130 nautical miles, but of course a plane can get there pretty quick. That E3 is still just casually patrolling the area here. Based on what I'm seeing here, I think the position on the map is not accurate. It seems like the position on the map might be bugged. And I'm hoping that if I want to take this aircraft down, I am going to be able to do so. Because based on what I'm seeing here, like that is this. This aircraft's about there at my cursor. So not here where it currently seems to be on the map. And that's a bug that I will report to the developers. Because that's something that should not happen. Alright, my helicopter is still dropping soda buoys. And there was something that has me a little concerned. There is a contact over here, 7013. I recently learned that you have to have a unit selected if you want to have somebody identify, but you cannot communicate with track 7013. Doesn't have to mean much, but there are several others. There is 7018 and 7016. And some of these, especially, that was the K2123 that detected it. This is a submarine on the other side of Gibraltar, that one. They detected this. It's 19 knots. I think for a submarine it would be very quick. Unless it's rushing to get somewhere, which is possible. I'm not sure what to make of that yet. But I do know that I don't really like the look of it. Okay, our aircraft... Oh, sorry, Vilnius is going the wrong way. Vilnius needs to continue heading west. Here, you can see our fighters being brought up. Here's another one of our fighters. There goes the aerial radar. It's a little hard to pick him up. Here. There's the radar. Okay, so you're just going to merrily sit at a very high altitude. 10,000 feet ought to do it, maybe even more than that. And you're going to turn that radar dish on. Air search, surface search. And instantly we're getting new radar contacts. Instantly. 2-1, 2-2, 2-3, 2-4, 2-5. The whole area suddenly gets populated. And even the updated position for the E3A is now on the map. So it might not have been a bug after all. We got aircraft here, here. This is an aircraft as well of unknown make and model. There's another aircraft there. Yeah, we got all sorts of aircraft. Can we request that these identify themselves? Does not respond. You. Does not respond. 726. Does not respond. Wow, they're all not responding. I wonder what they're up to. Good lord. 7030. It's getting real busy here. I'm not sure exactly what these are. Cannot communicate with him. Cannot communicate with 7029. Pop a buoy. Do it there. And then start... No, actually, let's continue on our way. Just pop the buoy and continue heading forward. Ace 1 is on position. That's the flying radar dish. And as for the rest... This is one of my patrols. Yastreb 1. Go to 10,000 feet. Yastreb 2. Go to 10,000 feet. So that should be the whole Yastreb flight. Yeah, they're slaved to Yastreb 1, which is good. So now I should be able to set the pattern. Make it an echelon pattern. For no particular reason, that is. Yep. We're getting some EMM missions from this, and it's been classified as hostile. We just don't know exactly what it is. But we know that it's something that means us harm. Okay. So what I'm going to do is form up all these wings, all these patrol wings of mine. And once they're ready to go, we're going to send them out in the group. So Yastreb 1, climbing the high altitude. You can even see a drop tank underneath that aircraft. If it has expended all the fuel from the drop tank, it will drop the tank. So that should allow it to go a little bit faster. As for the weapon systems that this aircraft has, it carries two AA-7Ds with a range of 18.9 nautical miles. Also comes equipped with the Fab 500, which is a bomb. And it comes equipped with the AS-7, which is an anti-surface camera-guided missile. I believe that this was supposed to be... Oh, right. Right. This is the air patrol flight, I think. Yeah, we got 2 aircraft coming this way. Potentially more. What's your speed? 837 knots. These guys might still be lining up with their wingman. We have several more units here. It's gonna get really busy. And I'm all for it. There goes the drop tank. That felt like it was very, very soon, because that aircraft has not been out for very long. Okay, you're all lining up with Yastreb. Very nice. Let's go and say hi. You guys are ready to go. Yastreb 5, Yastreb 6. This is part of the Yastreb 5 formation. I think it's got a similar loadout. I'm not very well versed in aircraft. What's the situation on the flight deck? What are we doing with the Vilnius? I think we're still launching a bunch of flights. Yeah, we're still waiting for the 12th Squadron. 2 aircraft are waiting to launch. Okay, and then we're going to be launching Yastreb 7 and 8. That should be the last 2. There goes 1. I need to take a picture of that. And the other ones are still waiting. Yastreb 10 and 11. Can we get the launch, actually? Go onto the map. Look at the Vilnius. It's not classified as an entity yet. I can't... Well, there's the other one. Here's Yastreb 11. Here's Yastreb 9. There it is. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Beautiful. Okay, so we're going to be preparing to launch this aircraft. Catapults under steam. Yastreb 8 on position, very good. Off you go. Good hunting. This is where I'm going to end this episode. It is not the most action-packed one yet, but I do find that this is a very important phase. Gathering information, figuring out how to deploy your forces, figuring out whether or not you want to go away from MCON. All of these choices impact how you're going to get into the combat phase. And sure, it is nice to see things explode, to see missiles flying through the air, but the prelude to that, the leading up phase, I think is just as important. So join me soon for the next episode of this little series on our breakthrough from the Strait of Gibraltar. See you guys soon.